Hey everyone, Zero JD here with the XLA Fans channel. I'm here to give you a quick taste of Airport Simulator 2019. As its name implies, it's a simulation of managing an airport. Either you're giving out tasks for people to deliver baggage, deliver passengers, escort planes, all that kind of fun stuff, or yourself doing it directly depending if you don't have staff to do that. Fair warning, I don't like simulators like this. I'm not a big train simulator. I'm not a big bus simulator kind of thing. However, get into the part of this where you're actually hiring, assigning, and training people. So that's actually kind of the aspect that I like of this. You'll notice that I'm actually not too far into this game. You start with $150,000 and you start at level, I believe, either 0 or 1. You'll notice that I only have an extra 100,000 or extra 1,000, I'm sorry, and I'm only level 2. The reason is my other game save where I had multiple new vehicles and stuff like that and lots of staff is apparently there has been a bug that has been in this game since the PC release where when you send something to go to maintenance, it won't let you repair it. And it just, in my other save, I had to keep buying and renting new vehicles. I thought maybe because I was renting the vehicle, I couldn't repair it or something, and something else had to be done. So I bought some vehicles, and it was just destroying my money, and it just refused to repair it. So that's something you guys need to, you should keep aware of, that bug is there. This game also apparently hasn't changed much since its 2015 version of it. So anyways, as you can see here, I have a little hangar here, but I'm going to explain the menus first, and then we're going to actually go on to our next day. So this first menu here, if you hold the little bumper or the bumpers, you can actually cycle through the different things. This first one here is your headquarters. The second one is like your active vehicle that you were driving, which I was actually doing this guy. Be aware if you're driving the vehicles, they are insanely slow, and it literally is almost mind-numbingly like boring to drive to places around. But you start without any staff. Of course, you can hire people and then skip to when they start, and you don't take that much of a hit of money, and they actually reward you fairly well for like the planes taking off and all that stuff. The next one is this that little cross, which are wrenches, which is the maintenance room, which, like I told you before, did not work in my other games after a set period of time. It worked at the beginning, although super slowly, but then it just stopped working. And the last one is just fuel. And of course, you can upgrade it to be like, hey, I want to assign a person here, so I'm going to actually upgrade this. Go here. I could either man it myself, which I would actually have to sit here and watch the screen, or I'm going to be like, hey, let's get Eric Pat. Well, Eric Pat can't do it, so that's, oh, there you go. August, you're gonna be here. So now if someone pulls up, I can be like, yeah, go ahead, August, fill that vehicle up. So what I'm gonna do, as you can see, I can actually fast forward and decrease time, but we're gonna actually hit the window button to proceed to the next day. At the beginning of every day, you actually pick what flights you want to take care of. Since I'm level 2, I can only do 2 flights a day. So that seems fine with me, so let's go with it. So on the left side here, and we have time because the time is stopped. If I wanted to, I can push Y, and that actually fast forward me to the prep times of the planes that I have there. So on the side of here, I have my vehicle list. I actually have about 6, or had 6 on my other save. And they're my personnel. These are people who I have hired. As you can see, they have skills and everything. I'm in that list. I am actually able to help out. I drive, I can fill up stuff, and I can repair stuff if it decides to work. Available personnel is essentially who you want to hire. It gives their name. Below that is essentially what they have the most stars in. They have their availability, and I believe salary is daily. But when they available means that, hey, if I hire them, then they'll come in the 24th. Even though today's the 24th, I don't think they'll come in till later. The last time I've tested this, all my flights have been in the morning, and I finished them all, and I kind of don't want to sit there and just run the clock when this person arrives, so I usually just skip to the next day. Available vehicles are essentially the same. You can buy or rent them. In my other one, I have a second bus and another baggage car. The smaller tasks, when you pick out your flights, you can either be like, hey, I want to do this one that has only 3 tasks, and is like, hey, load baggage, load people, load fuel. However, the bigger planes with larger tasks tend to be like, hey, there's a lot more to do, you need a lot more vehicles. They don't actually tell you that, but it is kind of implied, but hey, there are 9 tasks. What could those 9 tasks be? But anyways, they do have a really good tutorial. It actually kind of forces you to do stuff. And if you are actually personally driving around, there's a green arrow on the ground that tells you exactly where to go and exactly where to park, which is really nice. And then it tells you to go on back. But again, it's driving to point A, point B, point C, come home. So what we're gonna actually do now is I'm gonna hit Y to speed up to my next event, which shouldn't take too long. They usually give you about 15 minutes beforehand. All right, so there's a green 1 over my flights here. Since I have someone who can drive the bus, I could actually have them drive it there themselves, or that little key there means automatically do it and pay some money. I'm gonna have my person go ahead and do that. So what I wanna do is actually, I'm gonna go to vehicles, and I can kind of watch this person go, but I have to initiate time. But this is about as fast as the game goes, normal speed. For some reason, the AI likes to do circles like this. I read on the Steam forums, apparently AI is super stupid. That doesn't seem entirely true. I've never had them wreck or anything, or just not show up. The worst that they may have done is that person doing that little crazy little loop-de-loop kind of thing. Other than that, it's like, well, I mean, they're not doing too much any otherwise. All right, so the field transport, I'm gonna drive that. So as you can see, there's a nice little lovely line here, and we're gonna follow it. And of course, while I'm driving, you can see my bus over there kind of going. So as a field truck, I'm gonna head on over to here. But what I need to actually do is, when you're shifting, it's essentially, it's one push and you go, and it's like, you're not gonna, there it is. I'm kind of impressed I was able to do that. If you stop and you want to back up, you actually have to wait till the vehicle comes to a complete stop. There's no like need for speeding. Okay, so my other task actually just popped up. So, but I'm gonna be like, hey, you go ahead and do it. If you're worried about not having any staff, the game's actually fairly generous with how much time it gives you to do stuff. And as long as you're on the lowest, as long as you're driving, it stays on speed 1. And I don't know if it's like 30 seconds to the minute, but it gives you a generous, like very generous time limit. Bottom left, it shows you what you're driving and all that. Bottom right, of course, stats. The game doesn't penalize you for driving like a crazy person at all, as long as you don't hit anyone. And I think even if you do hit someone, it's just kind of like, hey, you need to repair your vehicle, which again, I had issues with that further on. But it's essentially just this, and not all the vehicles are as fast as this. I believe this is the fastest one that I have owned out. I'm assuming that the actual vehicle, like the actual cars, are faster. But like, I can see that like my task is over there, so I can just cut across and be like, no one cares. Sometimes they'll be playing here or not, and sometimes it's not there. There goes my bus. He's gonna probably go on home. So see, I'm going to one of these little tiny airplanes, and I'm gonna go and just kind of park right in the spot. It'll fuel it up, and then once the baggage car arrives, it'll be done, and I'll get paid. Usually the key can be like, hey, I don't want to drive it all the way back. But that meant that was going to want me to go and park in a specific place, but I won't. And since I know the way back, I will take it on home. But at first, you start with no staff at all. So at the best, you can skip if you like, and staff changes day to day. So there'll be times where you'll get staff or hire them and they won't show up for like 3 days. So you're by yourself at the beginning. And that actually happened in my last game, but it was like, hey, there's literally no pressure whatsoever to get stuff done. But this is essentially what you'll be doing the entire game. Maybe later on there'll be stuff for security and air fire stuff, but I've never gotten that far, mostly because of all my vehicles breaking down and just me not having any money to pay my staff or do anything at all. So that is a major bug you guys should probably know about. Anyways, I am ZeroJD. This is Airport Simulator 2019. It's okay. Just keep in mind of the bug. I had another bug that actually caused the menu to pop up and then just never go away. So it was essentially blocking the entire screen. I would pause and it would just it'd be like, nah, I'm staying right here. Funny thing was though, I could do all my other stuff and it didn't really affect anything. So I was like, oh well, who cares? But thank you very much for watching. I am ZeroJD, this is the XBlade Fans channel. Please check out our other videos. Airport Simulator 2019. The main driving A to B point interests me not at all. The micromanagement kind of stuff is kind of interesting. And that's about it. Let's fast forward until everyone comes home. Here they come. And he should be coming right around the corner any second. Hey, I got paid, and of course, and then once again, the cycle repeats. This one, I only actually need to send these two guys out. Off they go. Oh, they already finished it. Anyways, there's also a warning, don't leave your vehicles out in the weather overnight. I really like the time lapse going out there, it's really fun. But as you can see, I'm going at 20 times speed, and it's slightly faster than a second, it feels. So again, if you're by yourself, don't have any staff, you're gonna be fine unless you take one of those giant tasks you don't have the equipment to do. And even if you don't have the equipment, you can just pay to have it completed, but that will definitely eat into your profits. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.